from Dave. I had a quick look at the fab work before we loaded it up. It was quite busy there at the workshop, so I didn't want to, you know, hang around and be a menace and, you know, waste people's time. So we're going to get this back to the shop, unload it, check it out in detail, what Dave's done with the extra fab work. It looks fantastic. You know, it's kind of now the last pieces of the puzzle. All the fab work's done. It can be, you know, kind of final assembly. As I said before, we can then do the wiring and then it can start up. Then we need Luke to get sitting in some seats so we can finish the interior. Get the glass back in it, the Lexan back in it, get it tuned. Oh. All right guys, so we're back at the shop. Let's check out what Dave's done. I'm really digging it. He's done some real nice work. It's just a shame, you know, I don't get to keep the cup. Someone's gonna win it. I really appreciate it. Let's check it out. So obviously in the back, we got Dave to put the radiator up on a nice angle, and I've got him to sheet it in so that the airflow can now directly go into the face of the radiator. So he's done a real clean job. Put some pinch weld on it, bolted it in for easy access. Before it was laying quite flat, so it was more drawing down instead of drawing through. In changing that, we obviously had to redo the crash structure. So at the back we've got him to redo the crash structure. Obviously this needs to come out and get painted. On the sides I've got him just to put some real thin bar in there, so if you do go into the wall, it's just going to bend that bar and not bend the whole crash structure and then potentially twist the chassis. It'll just kind of crash in there, and then you can either just bend that bar out or just weld that bar easily back in. And then the idea is those thermos will just draw out the bottom there. He's remade the exhaust mount there, so we can interchange the muffler and the loud exhaust. So if you do go to Archie, just put the muffler on, and if you go wherever you want, you just put the loud one on, make some noise. In the corner here, he's redone the header tank. So this section here is the header tank, and then internally he's welded a block off in here, and this is the overflow. So the steam port from the top will go to here. This will come into here, and that'll be a nice little compact section just to keep all that, you know, nice and neat and not have like extra bottles and stuff going everywhere. All right, so moving forward, what else did we get Dave to do? He's made us up a nice little isolator bracket there so we can run the cabling into the isolator, nice and easy to reach for the driver. We got him to do some nice little foot plates, some kick plates, which turned out pretty sweet. We just lifted them off the ground, so the heat from the engine and exhaust and gearbox, there's like that air barrier so you don't burn your feet if you're driving for a long time. Plus it kind of elevates your heel off the ground, makes it easier, push the pedal. Moving into the engine bay, this little bad boy turned up, some filter, put that on later. So he's remade this intercooler piping. You see down there some nice welds. We need to just put the silicone hose on, and then the dump pipe's all sorted. So that'll just get wrapped with heat wrap just to keep the heat management under control. And that's pretty much it on the fabrication side, but yeah, real happy with it. So we're just gonna finalize those last pieces, get that rear crash structure out so we can get it powder coated or painted. Final assembly, wiring, seats, dyno, drive it. Yeah, boy. All right, guys, we interrupt this vlog to bring you some cooking. What is it? Alright, so as you would have seen in Luke's vlog that he released, he did actually go to Racer Industries and try some seats on. As I was just saying a bit earlier in the same vlog that we were waiting on him to try the seats, so he has done that now. So we have two Racetech seats, the 4100 series. This one here is wide and tall, obviously for Luke's size. The other one that's going to go on the passenger will be a standard. So obviously if you win the car and you're a bit smaller, you just swap them over and you can have a standard one. We got Lifeline harnesses, new Sparko wheel, and a few little bits and pieces from Racer Industries to finish it off. So might do a little time lapse on pulling the rear end apart because we need to paint the crash structure for the rear radiator. We'll go on from there. Alright, so I might have stuffed that up by keeping the GoPro in time-lapse mode when I was pulling apart the rear end, and then decided to do another video, a little update after doing some wiring, and it all went really, really fast. So, the joys, the joys. We'll do it again, Alright, so what we've seen before was the time-lapse on just pulling the rear end apart and putting that together, then time-lapse of wiring the loom, getting that sorted. So we're just going to run back over that maybe a little bit slower so we can see what's going on. So everything in the back's now wired up. We got a fuel gauge wired up here so you can fill it up. You can see how much is in it. So in competition, when you've got your pit crew filling up, they can see exactly how much is in it and make sure it's always full for you. So yeah, in the back we took that off. That's all been painted now. It's just in pressure pack black, so obviously if you go in the wall, you hit it, you can just bend it back out, hit it with the can, off you go. Thought about powder coating it, but then obviously it's going to wreck the powder coat. Not as manageable if you're going to, use and abuse the car the way it's intended to. Fans wired in, lights are wired in, pumps are wired in, battery's mounted, it's wired in. We got all the wiring sorted in the back. That comes through to the front. Our Storm Link ECU's mounted, our fuse box and relays are mounted, and our additional relays are mounted. All the wiring now is finalized. So the last thing to do with the wiring is connect the dash and the switchboard. I think I've got to do the starter underneath. That's pretty much it. So wiring wise, really close. Once the wiring's done, we can load a base map into the ECU, configure that, get the parameters set up, start testing it, make sure all our relays work, all our stuff works, and then we can get on the good stuff, starting it. Obviously we've got to put the fluids in, oils in. I started putting power steering fluid in, gearbox, diff, coolant, brake, clutch, all that stuff. Both the seats are in now. Just need to put the harnesses in the passenger side. I've got some grip tape for the pedals. Exhaust is all in, wrapped. Oxygen sensors mounted, looms all done. So just a nice tidy job with clean cut. We could have gone with ray cam and all that stuff, but you know, this is effective. It's easy to use and looks really good. So we went with that. The engine bay is pretty much all done now. Oil cooler fan's on now. Everything in the bay is done. Headlights are wired in. So that's all sorted. Just need to put the fluids in, as I said. Get some grip tape. Put the dash in, which is over there. Got steering wheel. We've got Lexan windows. So Lexan for the rear quarters, a Lexan for the rear, which is obviously going to be cut out. We'll get to the car, down to Mitch, do run-in tune, do some power tunes, maybe on his roller, a dyno, see how it goes, and then if we need to, we'll go to Godzilla Motorsport and put it on the hub so we can then turn it up and see what it makes. So it's very close, guys. It has been a little bit drawn out, but I've just been kind of keeping the videos staggered so they're not all coming out at once and then having a big lull. So obviously if you're watching Luke's vlogs and you've seen his one, you might have seen a bit forward in the progress but it is very close. Is very close. So after we get it tuned and everything's all sweet, put the rest of the body kit on it, get some semis on it, get practicing in it. Once Luke's comfortable in it, we've broken what needs to break, or if it breaks, you know, that's the point of testing. Make sure that you've, you know, put it through its paces. Then we can get a wrap on it and make it look real pretty, and maybe some more practice in it and get it to World Time Attack, send it, give it away, and then hopefully we can meet up with the winner and take them on a track day and see what they've won. Should be good. Stay tuned.